we help in mentorship, and we assist others when it comes to area of Microsoft 365 technology. And in today's session, briefly let me introduce myself. My name is Timileyin Olaleye. I'm a Microsoft 365 subject matter expert. And I have over 5 years experience working with Microsoft 365 products, and I'm a Microsoft certified trainer, and I have few certificates in Microsoft 365. And also today, also let me tell you more about the ground rule before we start. In today's session, we are going to record all this session. So please, I want you to be aware that this session is recorded, and please do well to please mute your mic when you're not speaking. And also, we would appreciate if you can pen down all your questions in Q&A. We don't want you to, we don't want anyone to speak, especially when the speaker is actually speaking today. And also, you can join us on our social media platforms. So on Twitter, you can join us at MGM365. And on LinkedIn, you can join us also on our LinkedIn, as you can see on your screen. So this is our LinkedIn link. And also, we have a link to our YouTube channel. And also, if you have a feedback for us on how you want us to improve this community, you can also go through our feedback link. And I will be dropping the direct link on the chat now for you to have access to them. So you can connect with us easily using these links. And also, yeah, for people joining us for the very first time, like I said earlier, this is a community where we try to grow together, learn together, and try to improve each other. So up in our community, we are planning a mentorship program for people that are new to Microsoft 365. So I would just encourage you to stay around. So you learn from this community. And if you are a person that have a Microsoft 365 knowledge before, please, you can do well to join us. And also, maybe you're trying to move into Microsoft 365. This is a good place for you to learn and develop. This is a community. It's even more than a community. It's more like a family, because a few of the people here, I met them in the community, and we've gone outside the community to have a stronger bond. And yeah, and also I'm going to introduce our speaker for today. And our speaker for today is a technical trainer. His name is Kelechi Ojukwu. And today we are going to deep dive into Microsoft 365 Copilot. As we all know, presently we are in the of season of AI. We are in a generation whereby AI is taking over everything. So why we try to bring this topic, so for us to know what is in vogue, and also to know how to increase our productivity in this modern modern workplace. Okay, so and we have a technical trainer with vast knowledge in training, and also he's a technical trainer, vast knowledge in Microsoft 365 products. And today, Kelechi Ojukwu will be speaking to us on Microsoft 365 Copilot, and how we can make use of it more efficiently in our day-to-day activity and day-to-day use. So, hi Kelechi, how are you doing today? Hi Kelechi, can you hear me?
Yeah, hello, Timmy. Hello, everybody. Good evening. Pleasure to be here. Glad to be, invited as a speaker for today's session. Yeah, I'll be here to, relate with all of us on, the solution, as we all are now familiar with, which is CoPilot, and how it helps to transform our day-to-day activities, our day-to-day business modules, and operations into simpler tasks. So thank you for having me, and I'm looking forward to the questions that you have in and during the session, and probably at the end of the session.
Okay, thank you so much, Kelechi. It's nice having you run. And yeah, Copilot. People have been talking about Copilot. Yeah. So over time, let me talk about from my experience. I have issue typing emails, especially when you have to type a lot of emails and the likes. So I think for someone like me, I feel Copilot is actually a good thing. Although most people actually do think that Copilot is most people they feel they have reservation to, let's say, generative AIs and all these new AIs, especially when we talk about Copilot and Gemini, talking about ChatGPT. Most people believe it makes people lazy. So what do you think about that? Is it actually making people lazy or
All right, thank you. So that's the first thing that comes to most people's minds. It's a misconception that has grown in the minds of people actually, that once there's a robot or a solution that's doing the task that humans that we normally used to perform over time, then it would no longer require the effort from us as we usually do them. But yeah, the AIs are just here to assist us. It's a solution that's here to enhance our productivity. We are to train it and direct it on how efficient for it to grow and develop over the years. So it's still in preview. Most people don't know, meaning that changes are being made every time till it becomes a perfect solution or a finite solution for the public. So a lot of changes are still ongoing, and that's why whenever we use the tool, we can either um, submit the feedback of it being a helpful feedback, or the feedback that it brought for our inquiries wasn't helpful. So you have that feedback to say, yes, this feedback was helpful, or this feedback wasn't helpful. All that feedback is taken to the developers, who would then, collate and know how best to integrate going forward and develop all that is necessary to improve the solution. So I don't think, I don't think the AI tool would ever replace. Rather, it would become more robust than it already is, and strengthen the way we as humans communicate, do our daily activities, and just enhance overall productivity, basically. So I still believe we have a huge role to play as users of the solution, and yeah, that's my feedback on that.
Oh yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much for that, yeah, Kelechi. Yeah, actually, from what you said, I actually use Copilot day to day, and if I'm to be very honest, it helps me to be more productive, right? Just imagine you are on a 2 hours call, trying to troubleshoot and resolve an issue, and after the call, right? You have to say call summary, right? Just trying to summarize your 2 hours call on a go. So you just know, like, it takes longer time for you to type that summary. So what I just do most times is just to type, maybe summarize, oh, I did this, and I will ask Copilot to give me suggestion, like email template, and it's likely give me most times not exactly what I want, but I can ask Copilot to add something or remove a particular thing, which I find very pretty cool, and is actually increase my productivity. And yeah, so I do agree with you about that. That Copilot is actually here to help us to increase our productivity. Is not a threat to us. Is actually is actually our biggest fan, because it's just there to help us anytime we ask for help. So yeah, so my next question is, Earlier when you're talking about development of AI. So I've been, like I said, I've been using it. So you mean that there's still more to come when we're talking about um, co-pilots and let's say all the other AI tools.
Obviously, yes, absolutely. Copilot is a breakthrough solution. There's not been anything like it. We've had similar AI tools, but why I strongly believe like Copilot is the future is because of how it's being integrated into or other Microsoft solutions that many customers around the world use on a daily basis. And yeah, we have competition from other cloud providers as well that are also having their own solutions. But if you look at the way Copilot is designed to work with solutions around M365 and Dynamics 365 and other solutions in Microsoft ecosystem, it just makes you think about what this would be in the next 3 to 5 years. Because if it's already doing the kind of magic it's doing now, it gives you a very, very exciting, you know, you just have this exciting view of what's to come, so to say. So I just believe that there are lots for the AI tool to still, adapt to. Daily activities in our organizations, it needs to be trained more because sometimes you ask it questions and it would give you feedback or responses that it cannot meet, you know, it cannot provide answers to. It means that it is still learning, it's still not able to do some tasks that you are able to do on your own. So an AI should be that solution that can do all of these tasks. You are just to modify, at least let it do some task and you modify. But when it cannot do the task that you normally would do by yourself, then it means that there's still room for improvement. So these are the cases where the development team are constantly looking, into to help improve and make sure that customers get the right experience from this solution known as Copilot. So Copilot, we have the Copilot that is attached to your Microsoft Edge, your Bing, and the one that is licensed, so to say. So you can get that one that's licensed integrated to your enterprise. That's your Microsoft 365 Enterprise, your work account, and it would integrate into all of the solutions. That's the Microsoft 365 core workloads that you use on a daily basis. Talking about the Outlook, Teams, Microsoft Word and the likes. So this way you are able to enhance overall productivity on how you perform your tasks around not just one solution, but various solutions. So it just helps you complete a lot of tasks faster. Like you mentioned, when you started using the Copilot tool, you may not be able to attend some meetings, but if you can get access to the tool, you can catch up on what you missed. So we didn't used to have that before, right? In fact,
Yeah.
what we had in Teams was you would just normally have a transcript when you have your meetings recorded, then you have the recording saved, so you can go back to watching the recordings and see the transcript, right? Now we can have a summary of the meeting and know who said what and know where you were mentioned or if there's anything that you did not that you need to follow up on, follow up tasks and any item pending on you, things like that are now integrated into that tool. So yeah, I just believe that in the future, a lot of areas would be addressed. You know, a lot of things that are not already happening for Copilot would be addressed, and those things would make sure that the tool becomes one of the leading innovations for Microsoft. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much, Kelechi. Thank you so much. So I saw that we have more people on the call. Please, today we are talking about Microsoft 365 Copilot, and our speaker today is Kelechi Ojukwu. He's a technical trainer, and is going to put us through Microsoft 365 as a product. Microsoft 365 Copilot as a product, the features and the benefits and what we need to know. And also, please, I would like us to, if you have any question, we can make use of our Q&A session to ask for questions. And also, I want to implore us to please mute our mics because This call is recorded and we are going to upload it to our YouTube channel. Please do make a call. So, Kelechi, let me give you the floor to give us more of what you have for us, because actually I know that you have a lot for us today, because you have been actually I've learned a lot from you today. Thank you so much, Kelechi. You have the floor.
All right. Thank you very much, Timmy. Thank you much. Thank you, everybody. So I'll be sharing my screen shortly. You can just let me know when you can see my screen, okay? So to demonstrate one or two things that we can achieve using the tool CoPilot. I believe everybody has experienced CoPilot, even if it's not the paid one. You probably must have experienced using it on your browser. Okay, so bear with me. Um, Please let me know if you can see my screen.
Yes, I can see your screen.
All right. So hi guys. This is the Microsoft 365 portal. You can access this by just going to the office.com URL or portal.office.com, signing in with the Microsoft 365 account. There are two types of accounts that can access this portal: the normal user accounts or the admin accounts. Well, if you're signing in as a user, you're going to see similar things like what I'm seeing here. You're going to see this kind of interface. But if you're signing in as an admin, you're going to see an admin icon on the left pane. There's going to be an admin icon on this pane. Unfortunately, I'm not an admin, so that's why that button is missing. If I have that button here, it means that I'm an admin, and it takes me right into the admin center where I can manage licenses, manage users, manage the processes that my users would work with, and overall organizational, compliance can be done from there. And you can also give users roles and licenses from there as well. So I'm not an admin, I'm just a basic user on this enterprise. I have the Copilot license, the Copilot for 365. And that's why I can see this Copilot button or as an application installed here on this left pane. If your administrator does not assign to you the Copilot for 365 license, you would not see that license here. You would not see this Copilot button here. But once you have any of the business licenses, be it a basic, standard, premium, or any of the enterprise licenses, you're going to see the applications that uh, you've been assigned to have, right? So most of this core workloads like your Teams, Outlook, Word, uh, what's it called? Skype, you're going to see all of those applications listed here. So it means that you have the license that gives you access to these applications, which you can use for whatever you want to use them for, right? So going into it, this is the Copilot button. Clicking this would take us to that interactive part of Copilot. Just hold on. Probably need to refresh this page. For some reason, it seems not to be opening on my browser. Just hold on. Let me access it from Teams. So, can you guys see my screen?
Yes, I
Hello,
can.
guys. Okay. So the Copilot assistant is really much similar to what the ChatGPT OpenAI looks like, right? And you basically have prompts that you can use for interaction. Prompts are usually, or prompts can mean tasks that you want to initiate using Copilot, questions you want to ask, information you want to get. So you can ask Copilot, and what this Copilot is going to do is that it's going to check for information that is actually accessible to you as a user in your organization. It's kind of different from the one that you have attached to your Microsoft Edge or Bing, which is more of a free source where you can have information that is uh, directly accessible from the web. It gives you any content that is not necessarily available in your organization. So that one pulls information from the web, but this one would pull information from your organization, your company. So any information that you're looking for in your company, yeah, you're going to have that information brought out to you here, depending on the prompts that you use. So prompts are like questions, tasks you want this Copilot tool to perform for you. Okay, so if I want to find out the recent files sent to my email, I'm just gonna ask it here. Then it's gonna look into my emails and check for the files that have been shared with me. Okay. It's going to look into my emails and check for files that have been shared with me. I do not really want to go into all of my emails, but if I have this summary, which Copilot is doing for me here, it gives me insight to, okay, which one do I want to take up first? Perhaps I don't want to go through my Outlook, or probably I'm even having some issues logging to Outlook, right? I see a direct overview of what's happening in my email, in my mailbox, and I'm able to just have an insight into what I should know concerning my mailbox. Now, if there's any information that I need to really gain access to, then like number two says, if I go back here, number two says a few hours ago, you received another email with the subject files. Okay, so there are two emails with the subject files containing different items like stated in this overview here. So if I want to check out that content, I just need to click on that number. They're actually listed here. If you want, you can actually click them and it will take you to your mailbox. If it's not already open, then you have to sign in. Like mine, I have to sign in. So let me just get past this stage. Then I enter my mailbox. Um, what you're seeing here is me experiencing some MFA prompts that it's not allowing me get past that I have to do. But I'm not setting up the MFA now. I can actually skip it for now. So I have the option to ask later because it's not been enforced for me yet. But if it's enforced, then I would not be able to skip. I wouldn't be able to skip. For now, I'm still using the skip method. Thank goodness it's not enforced. So I can skip the setup, which would then allow me access the application that I'm trying to access. There's just a lot of it coming up. Should get
Maybe you should
past it
try
now.
incognito mode.
Oh, okay. Uh, Let me see. Okay, let's try incognito. Office.com. Okay. I should have just kept all these apps open. Yes. All right. So I'm going into my mailbox now. Apologies for that delay. Yes. Guys, can we see my email, my mailbox?
Yes, yes.
Okay,
Yes, yes.
okay. So in here, I have a couple of unread emails, and I have that email that's pointing to files, right? I have that email that's pointing to files, and checking on it, I have some email from somebody sent to me, right? And it's in the subject of files. Now, if I go ahead to, I can actually go ahead to do a lot in this email, such as trying to find out what exactly is the main bone of contention in this email. So that's why you can see the summary by CoPilot, which means that no matter the entire content in the email thread, you can get a summary of that email, right? This would summarize the entirety of not just the email, but the email thread. So it says you shared a link to join a conversation on Microsoft Teams. You discuss the future evolution of AI tools like Copilot over the next 5 years. And it has some key points from some of those things that was sent in this email. Guys, do we understand? Now, this is a summary of this email. If you go through the entire email, then you probably have to read a lot of lines to really understand what was conversed in that email. But this tool helps us to just get a summary, and it looks good to go. And if you want to do other activities in here in Outlook, you can as well do them, right? So we should be looking out for a Copilot button in this Outlook application. The Copilot button is usually at the top right of your application. I think it's almost in all the applications, it's always going to be at the top right. So we can see that top right Outlook, Copilot. You can see this is the icon Copilot. You just need to initiate it, and you have this pane coming out from your right. Yes, you have different prompts that are here that you can utilize, and all of them are very, very explanatory. If you want to write an email to somebody, if you want to plan an out of office response, if you want to have the most recent email displayed, if you want to get any information, you can use or utilize this Copilot assistance for uh, your own usage. So I'm going to try something here, guys. I want to find out. Let me just initiate a prompt. We have different categories of prompts. If you want to understand, if you want to if you want to ask, if you want to schedule, schedule means like you want to prepare a meeting, or you want to, what's it called? Prepare an out of office response or something like that. So all of this, do I have an action items on my unread emails today? I just chose one of the uh, already prepared prompts in that solution. So it's going to give me a brief detailed summary of the action items. And what are action items? Action items means that there are emails that are waiting for me to actually reply on them. There are emails that you would receive on a daily basis that you majorly don't need to act on them. You just being a part of that email, just for awareness sakes, right? But action items just means that the email that you've been sent, you are a stakeholder in that email, and your response is very, very crucial in that email. So sometimes you may have lots of emails, and you may skip some emails that are very, very crucial that needs your response. Copilot helps you to narrow down the ones that you should prioritize and probably, look into first. So something like this would help you always respond to prioritized tasks or emails so that you have those out of the way before addressing other lesser ones. Okay, so I can see here that I have an email from Victor. Victor sent an email this morning proposing a collaboration between my company and his to explore a new marketing strategy. He suggested an initial meeting to discuss mutual objectives. Right now, if this meeting is something I have actually had a conversation with Victor on the call. An email is simply just that documentation of it, right? Anything that's not in email, it means it never happened. It never was planned. Emails act as a form of documentation, binding that you're doing something. If it's not in writing, then it never happened. There's no, real legitimate reason as to probably what you guys discussed if it's not in email. So what we have here is something that I should probably look into, because this is Victor that's bringing me a proposal, a collaboration between his company and my company, and it looks like something that I'm aware of, or it may even be something that I'm not aware of. So it's something that I should look into, because this is somebody from a different company that's proposing something. I really need to find out what is pending on me. And if I let this delay, then who knows? There's a deadline, who knows? And I will miss that email, and that would just, be a bad look for our organization or for me personally. So this tool has helped to shaping the way we respond to emails or prioritize our emails. Are we following? All right. I hope we're following. The second one states that Joel Oyeniro sent an email this morning expressing concern of a recent disruption in cloud storage services. Who knows? My company may be the reason why he has not had a solution. I'm supposed to act on that email, and I'm just seeing this email on the second day that it was sent. I should be able to get my emails prioritized so that I would act on them immediately. So Copilot is able to intuitively check and know which emails are very, very urgent and need attention from me or from the organization, or something that I'm part of that just needs me, that probably the sender mentioned and my own action is just pending on it. So these are things that Copilot will bring to my notice, and I need to, I'll probably go ahead and take action on them. Can we move on, or are there any questions for now? Hello guys, am I audible?
Oh, yes, you are. Yes, you are. Yes, we can.
Okay.
You can go on.
Okay. So does anybody have like any task they want to perform in Outlook on a typical day? Like, do you have any sort of activity you might want to check in Outlook that you probably think, oh, typing it out or clicking it would just probably waste your time? You want the Copilot tool to assist you. Does anybody have anything like that? Okay, if there's none, then I'll probably try and reply this mail. I'll probably choose number one, which is the mail from Victor. So taking me to number one, it brings out that email from Victor. We can see it here. It's a lengthy mail, but it has so many things that are in it that I should probably, you know, take action on. Now, I probably may be struggling with the best way to come up with a response. Yeah, I might be struggling with the best way to come up with a response, but let's look at what Copilot can help us do when we have such challenges, right? So since Victor is the only person in this email, use the reply instead of reply all, right? Okay, so I have the reply initiated. I'm going to use this draft with Copilot option. You can see it. It means that instead of me typing out my own original response, I can simply just draft the response for Victor using Copilot, and I can say, okay, what was this email talking about? Okay, okay, I can just tell Victor, draft draft a response to Victor, initiating initiating perhaps I want to have a meeting in person to go over this proposal that he's bringing up. Draft a response to Victor initiating a meeting, a physical meeting at Marriott Hotel for a fiscal meeting for Thursday. Let me put a date there for Thursday, uh, at Marriott Hotel. And time set for 2 p.m. The response should state key areas that needs to be considered before striking a business, I don't need to put business, before striking a deal with his company. Okay, hopefully this generates something for me that I find useful. Okay. So it says, thank you for reaching out with this collaboration proposal. I am available for a meeting this Thursday at the Marriott Hotel at 2 p.m. Now, during this meeting, I would like to discuss key areas such as mutual objectives, resources, scope of collaboration, and any other terms and conditions that need to be considered before entering into a partnership with your company. I look forward to the opportunity to meet with you and discuss the potential for our companies to work together. But this looks like something that an AI really generated. It doesn't sound like I wrote it, right? Because it's not properly arranged. I need to make it longer. I need to make it more formal. I need to make it sound more casual. If I don't want it to be formal, I can choose any of these adjustment options to streamline my points and get it across. So this is a short response. Some people might decide to make it longer. uh, it's going to regenerate a response that would be longer than what we just saw. Okay, so this is having some more flesh in it. So it has added some couple of changes to the initial response, and I could still adjust it and say make it a poem. Let me get playful with it. This is it looking like a poem because this is how poems are written. Thank you for your email. I'm happy that you have this in mind. And look at, if you can see and observe, when it's written as a poem, your messages are actually having rhyme schemes at the end of each line. Are we following? Hello, guys. And they're still making sense.
Yes, we are.
And they're actually still making sense. It is a message, but written in poem format. You can see that kind rhymes with mind, project rhymes with effect, Marriott probably rhymes with o'clock, goes rhymes with rose, and so on and so forth. But yeah, if we're keeping it official, it would most likely be in a formal manner. So that would not fly. Okay, now we have spacings in that response, unlike what we had initially. Thank you for your kind email. I am pleased that you are interested in working with me on this project and seeing what we can achieve together. I will meet you at the Marriott on Thursday at 2 o'clock. There, we will discuss our objectives, our resources, and our responsibilities. And we will also cover other aspects of collaboration, such as scope, terms, and conditions, and how to manage transitions. Now, I hope this meeting will be productive and lead to a valuable partnership. And I look forward to seeing you in person and exploring our shared vision. This is a very brilliant response generated by the AI. If you want to add a couple of changes, you can do that. But before you do that, you probably need to select this as keep it, which means that you are okay with the outputs Copilot has generated from what you requested for it to do. So you click on keep it because you are satisfied with this response that it has given out. And then we can now make any other changes that would like to make to it. Perhaps want to add more flesh to this email, you can go ahead to state some other things. You can go ahead to, start with a different paragraph. You can go ahead to bring one line before the other. You can make all those changes because half of your job or more than half of your initial task has been resolved with this AI tool. So you can see the effectiveness of the Copilot solution directly working for you in terms of email reply or email communications. So this is, if you remember how we came here, I searched for uh, emails, recent emails that are pending my own actions, that I need to prioritize or that are pending actions on me. And I got probably like two emails that are pending actions on me. And I chose one. I didn't just go to my inbox to filter the messages. I actually used the feedback from Copilot to navigate to this actual message. And it brought me here. Then I did not even bother going through the entirety of Victor's message. I didn't read it to understand. I just got out the key elements of it, which was the business proposal he, initiated. Maybe because I don't have time to read the email and understand exactly what he wants us to do, I come up with a response like, you know what, let's have this meeting in person. So initiating the meeting in person still means that even though I received your email, that formal meeting in person should be documented via email, and we'll probably have a calendar or an appointment set up. Then probably when we now meet in person, everything that was said in the email will play out again when we get to discuss. So I have saved myself that time that I'll use to understand what was said in Victor's email before I now even spend time replying in my own way, which would probably take much time and more lines. Because one thing about us is, sometimes we want to keep emails brief. We end up making a lot of grammatical errors. Sometimes we get carried away and we draft lots of lines in our email responses, and the email gets so many contradicting lines, or as the case may be. So Copilot helps you get rid of any grammatical error, gets rid of any redundant statement that you've added there, any tautologies. You just have it in a more concise format that you would like your recipients to have it. So this is a very, very helpful tool in terms of email communications. So if I'm done with this, if I have any attachments to add to it, I probably don't have, but if I'm fine with this, I'll send this email as a response to the sender. And that's that for, you know, Copilot being helpful to me as a, you know, business person. I hope we all understood and learned from this. If we don't already know this, a lot of us already know this, but if you didn't already know this, this is one of the useful benefits of the Copilot solution. All right. So we'll probably go into other things now. I want to show us um, I want to show us other things that Copilot can do. Right here, I can see I have a meeting for 5 p.m. The time is 4:48. Uh, I can ask it here, any recent meeting. Let's say I didn't see this reminder, but I just want to know off the top, any recent meetings, or is there any meeting scheduled for today? Sometimes we don't have meetings scheduled for the day. It's very important that once you come into your office, you log into your accounts, you actually check whether you have meetings scheduled for the time you're logging in or for the day. At every point in time, you have to always check your calendar, because meetings are an important part of our role as business persons or business people. You always have to check whether you're in a meeting before you get carried away, because when you have it at the back of your mind that you have a meeting for a particular time, then you have that natural instinct to just want to check and follow up, because you already had that information before you started other activities. So it's always good to check at the beginning of your day, and probably as the day goes on, you check whether you have anything scheduled in your calendar that you probably have to attend as a key stakeholder. If you're not a key stakeholder, then it means that it's optional for you. Do we understand? Do we understand? All right. So let me just type that in here. Is there any meeting scheduled for today? I probably will put a question mark and just drop that there. Oh, look, it brought out a response that says, yes, I have a meeting scheduled for today at 5 p.m. with the delegates of VHub. The meeting is organized by you, and the attendees include. It tells me the attendees. This is a meeting I scheduled for my for this account just as a test. But if you actually have a meeting, this is how the responses will come out. If there are any attendees, if there's any other person that's in the meeting, it's going to tell you those people attending. It's also going to give you any other information that was included in the body of that appointment. Probably you guys should come with some certain items for the meeting. It could be a physical meeting in a boardroom. All that can be mentioned in that meeting. And if you haven't checked that meeting appointment, you probably can use Copilot to summarize what is expected for you to, have in that meeting. So this is a very, very useful tool that helps in Outlook. And there's lots of other activities, more than 50 plus, 100 plus activities that you can use within Outlook. You can use Copilot for within Outlook. But I'll probably have to move to another application now because of time, if we don't mind. And another thing I want us to always keep, some people forget about this is that it is always good to it's because we have lots to do and we forget to actually leave a thumbs up for the responses that really came good for you. A lot of times we'll just forget about this, but these buttons are here for you to give a feedback to Microsoft, who are actually still building this solution. So all of these are helpful to the product team, and it would keep helping lots of people. The more likes you leave for it, it means that that is the recommended solution. That's the way it's supposed to act. That is the way it's trained to act. The more dislikes you leave for it, it means that, oh, this is not the way it's supposed to be acting. So there probably must be a review around this response for this kind of prompts or requests. So all of this, I just believe we understand what I'm trying to say, right? You should always try to, if you have the time, you can just leave a like and then share that feedback to Microsoft so it goes to the backend team. So I'll be moving to another. I'd like to look into Microsoft Excel if that's fine for us, if we don't mind. Okay.
Oh, yes, yes, you can move on. Or do you
Okay.
want to take if do you want to take a question? We have a question from Deji,
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
and he said, "Can I get number of emails I am yet to respond to in a week, for instance?"
Okay. Number of emails that yet to be responded to within a week, right? Okay. Of course, we can do that.
Yeah, yeah. Can we
So
do a demo on that before we go,
yes,
or
I'm
do
trying.
you want?
Yes. I'll just try to address that before we go on to other questions. So it all depends on how you ask Copilot. Sometimes our questions are not asked correctly. Um, that is why we have a suggestion prompt here, right? We can ask if you do not know exactly how to put your question. I think there's probably a drafted. It says, "Who are my top collaborators? Find the person that emailed me last week." Okay, so Deji is asking how many emails do I have to respond for the week, or how many unread emails do I have, right? How many unread? Because Outlook has that option of, it's even called unread. So we use terms that are very, very identifiable with the app most times so that it can really understand what you're trying to get at. How many unread emails do I have from the past week? Is it from the past week or months?
Week.
Okay. And Copilot doesn't necessarily need you to have the question mark added. Okay. Sometimes you just forget to put the question mark and you still enter it. It'll bring out, it reads it and it understands. So it'll bring out, I'm just used to doing that. Or maybe because I'm training, I want you to understand that you're asking it a question. So it must probably end with a question mark. But it doesn't necessarily need you to add a question mark. So this is a prompt that I've issued. So it's going to look into my mailbox and it's going to look into my mailbox and try to check. So it says I have 0 unread emails from the past week, and this is true. This is true because uh, even though this is my work account, I have no emails that I've not read from last week. But if I do have any emails that I haven't read from last week, it would tell me the number of unread emails that I have not read, that I have from last week, and it will probably bring me a directional button to click that will take me directly to where I can find those unread emails. If that addresses your question, Deji. Hello. Hello, guys. Am I still with you?
Yes, yes, yes.
So I was just
You
asking to
said
know if that
yes.
that
You
addressed your
said
question.
yes.
Okay. Okay.
You
Good.
said
Good.
yes.
Do we have any other questions before I move to another demonstration?
So there is a question from Joe. I have a question around licensing. Do we have a free trials subscription to allow us to use Copilot with Office apps, either with Copilot Pro or Copilot from Microsoft 365?
Unfortunately, no. It is being hoped that it comes in the future when the tool is more, you know, stabilized. Because, like I said initially, it's still in preview, means that a lot of things are still being worked on. I believe that with time, we'll have a trial version of or to have a trial version of the license, which would allow users to really benefit off it before they can start subscribing to it, right? But for now, both the Pro and Copilot for 365 are paid for. You need to actually pay a certain amount to get that subscription for a month, as the case may be. And even for the Copilot 365, you have to, it is $30, and you have to use it for a year. So in a year, it's 360, total of $360 for a user. So depending on how many users you're getting it for. To answer your question, basically, there's no trial license available that I know of. No trial license for Copilot that allows you integrate, Copilot with your Office 365 apps. No free subscription, no trial at the moment. All right. One last question before we move on.
So I have my hand up. I'm not sure if the moderator saw that.
Oh,
Go
we are
ahead.
making
Moderator,
use of the chat, but
Oh,
okay,
okay.
yeah. Oh,
can I go ahead, please, moderator?
yes, yes, yes.
Okay, Kelechi, you are doing a great job, and I want to say thank you so far. I just want to chip in something just before you move on, because we didn't go to look at the email, we drafted response, and then it went through successfully. But I just want us to know that there is still need for you to check the email, because Copilot is Copilot. What it means is it is working with you. So please, you also have to be responsible to go check the email. You could just have a look. You may not need to look at it in depth, but you should go to confirm, because AI generally is not always, encapsulate are always correct. So you need to just go take a look at the email, then you can be sure that the drafted response speak to what the person is saying, and then before you can push the mail out. So I just thought to include that one also. But thank you very much, Kelechi.
Yes. Thank you for that intervention there. That's a very valid point you made mention of. Like I did mention when I was doing that demonstration that I did not bother to look at the initial email from Victor, right? Which means that I, as a human, would have missed out some important information that the AI tool would probably misinterpret, right? So that's a very good observation. Sometimes I just used an analysis of somebody who is really uninterested in looking at the details of that email. Hence, his response to Victor's mail was, you know what? Let's just schedule a meeting, a physical meeting, where whatever you said in your email will still get to play out in that physical meeting. I don't know if you get me. So in times like that where humans just feel or people just feel like, oh, they don't really have time to go over, they use that summary feature that gives them, and because Copilot is almost 100% correct, it's not 100% correct, but because it's almost very correct, it's being trusted. So like you said, it could make mistakes, very clear mistakes, obvious mistakes, which you need to really check before sending out your response to that sender. But in my case here, and I take note of your observation, very valid. Before you send out a response, it must really go in line with what that initiator, which is the sender, really proposed. And because I was trying to play safe, I initiated a physical meeting because I skimmed through. When you don't read all of the emails, you're skimming through it and you're just picking out uh, parts of it that you really just want to reply to. And then again, the Copilot tool is there to assist you. So I didn't really want to read all of the lines in the initial email. So that was why I used that summary feature to address that. Then I initiated a physical meeting, which played a safe way for me to have an understanding. Because one thing about emails is that you would have probably like 4 to 5, 6, 7 exchange of emails before you can really understand what that collaborator is talking about. They'll have to send you attachments, have to send you a lot of stuffs before you can really understand what that email is talking about or what that person is trying to come with. But having a physical meeting is a way of me saying this is what I want because I know this is what you're coming with. I want to really understand you better, and having that physical meeting would present a way of us collaborating better and understanding ourselves better as collaborators. I believe you understand the context for which I use that Copilot, right?
Yes, please. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, bro. Okay, so I would move now to Excel. And I want to take on Excel because I have noticed, since I started using the Copilot tool, there are ones that are very interactive, the ones that are very, very easy to use, like Outlook. You can use it in Word, you can use it in PowerPoint. A lot of people navigate towards these applications because it seems more easy to use Copilot with. In Excel, a lot of people tend to struggle with Copilot in Excel. Excel is, we all know that Excel is, tables and columns, formulas, and all that. Some people are not fully up to grasp with, things that you can achieve with Excel. So Copilot is actually there to help you achieve your tasks in Excel in a much simpler way, right? But still, some people shy away from, they still just but do their things, and they don't know how to interact with the prompts from that tool. So I'll just like us to look into it before we probably have time to check other ones. So I'll be taking on Excel. I shared with myself a data that I want us to look into. And one thing want you to know is that for any file that you'll be analyzing with the Copilot tool, for any file that you'll be analyzing, it shouldn't be stored on your local machine. It should be stored on the cloud. And when we say on the cloud, we're talking about your OneDrive or your SharePoint. Guys, I hope I'm making sense. You shouldn't, what I mean is, if you have any data that you want to analyze, it shouldn't be stored on your machine. It should be on the cloud so that Copilot can locate that file and look into that file so as to interact with it. So I'm going to take us to Excel. Um, uh, okay, I'm trying to get. Okay, I think this is the file. It's already open. Can we see my screen? Hello, guys. So I want you
Yes,
to
yes, we
notice.
can.
I want you to notice something. Yeah, this URL here shows you that this file. I'm accessing this file uh from a location on my SharePoint. So it is not accessing it from my machine. It is directly having it's pulled out from my SharePoint, which is on the cloud. So any modification I'm doing is getting stored on the cloud. We can see the logo of the cloud here. The name of this data this file is Kel's Cookie Company, and this is the data that I have in this. This data is simply just an inventory of customers and orders that they have made in a particular year. I believe all of this is 2022, and the cost and revenue made for all of the cookies that they ordered, right? I am the cookie company. I have shipped out cookies to different customers in different months of the year 2022. So I really want to get some more information about this data. I hope we're following. I want to get some more information about this data that I have in my face. There are different customers, there are different orders, order IDs, there are different data for cookies shipped, and all of them are binded to dates, if we can see, with different revenues and costs also added there. So let's get to see how we can utilize the AI tool with Excel. All right. Like I said, when we were in Outlook, you would need to look for that Copilot button that is in your application. It is usually on the top right. So for applications like your Office suite, you'll find it in this menu option. You look at it, you see Copilot button, and you just need to, pardon me, you just need to click it. Clicking it would introduce that pane from the right where you can use some of its features, right? So it has some suggestions, some prompt suggestions that you can utilize for the data that you're trying to analyze here. It has all these features that say suggest a formula column, understand. And one thing about formulas is that a lot of us don't know how to write formulas. I mean, we're just basic users of the spreadsheet. Some of us don't probably do enough data analysis to know how we can use the best features of Excel, right? We're probably just going to filter columns and filter from descending to ascending and other things that are very basic. But the robust use of Excel lies in its formulas. If you want to, really maximize your knowledge about Excel, you need to understand the formulas, which means you need to do a deeper dive into the knowledge of this solution Excel. But with Copilot, we really don't need to do a lot of that anymore. I'm not saying totally leave it out, but I'm just saying like Copilot has now been implemented into these solutions to help us do these tasks better. That's just the point. And we can just achieve anything within these solutions faster, more efficient, so you don't have to waste time. Why do I have to write formulas myself and spend time checking whether it's correct or not, fixing and adjusting and aligning many things to bring out a correct output when Copilot can do all of that for me? So probably just use one of the prompts here that says shows data insights. So I want to see what it's going to bring when I use that show data insights. So it's telling you it's checking from A1, which is a column, down to the last column, which is F8440. That's column F4840. So I want to see all of the outputs from that prompt that I initiated, which is show data insights. I want to see the insights from this table. And it says that I analyzed this data, and this is what I found. Cost by customer name. Look at, guys, can we see? Can we see a table? Can we see this graphical chart here that shows different customers?
Yes, yes.
Yes, yes.
So it shows me that, and if you look, it has the customer names here, it shows the prices here. And for what I can interpret this out to be, I can see that Cascade Grovers is one of my customers that purchased around this region. Someone like Acme Groceries made purchases, but they did not purchase any actual item that reached this amount. Guys, do we understand? This could be around 650 for Cascade. They purchased around something like 650, right? For every shipping order, it was around this. But let's look at more information. It says the highest cost by customer name is Cascade with 600,000 $639,540, followed by Quick Bite. So that is the highest cost by customer name. It means that Cascade Grovers made the highest purchase. That is straight to the point. Do we understand? Then I can copy this information because it's a valid information that has been interpreted from this table. I can copy it and paste anywhere. I can take it to Excel. I can take it to Word. I can build more responses from there. And I can also add this to a new sheet. That's this slide this chart that it brought for me. I can add it to a new sheet. Doing that means that it would create a new sheet for me. Guys, can we see it? It opened a new sheet.
Yes.
And it brought out all of the different customer information and the sum of costs that they all spent for that year. And the total cost amounted to $1,872,995. Then it shows me a graphical representation of this information here. I mean, if I was to do this myself, I know how long I would spend even choosing the design and the alignment for what I want to achieve here. And then again, I can have more information by hovering around the different bars of this table. You can see my screen. It gives you a lot more information about these customers, and all of this data has just been pulled out from that table that we saw from the first sheet. So doing this yourself, trust me, even if it's something that's going to be easy for you to do, it will take much more time than what CoPilot would spend to bring this out for you. So you can see that the tool is very much maximizing your productivity in terms of Excel, in terms of your operations in Excel. So we can go back to this sheet and try some other prompts. Okay. So I can already see that I have 5 customers, but if I wanted to find out how many customers that I have, you can see that these are the customer names, but we have several rows. We have about 840 rows, right? I may think I have more than 5 customers. If I didn't do the analysis that I did the first time, I'm going to think or believe that I have more than 5 customers. But if I really just want to find out, how many customers that I have, I need to just ask the tool, how many customers does the Kels cookie company have? So what this is going to do, I believe, is going to check for all of the customers. It's going to check for all of the different customers that I have and give me an output that says the Kels Cookie Company has 5 distinct customers. What that keyword here means is that even though I have several rows of customer data, it means that there are just 5 of them in total. Some may exist more than more in those columns, but if we check out for each customer name, they are just 5. 840 rows occupied by 5 customers, 5 different customers, which we can see here. Guys, are we following? Guys, do we understand? Okay. So now I'm going to try and do something different. I want to know revenue costs. I want to know the profits that I made as the owner of this company. I want to understand. I can't just, if I sum, I can probably just sum column D and sum column E. Then I do the plus and minus, right? But let me have CoPilot do that for me. All right. For me to do that, it's just a simple question that you need to ask CoPilot. And you can say, add a new column, profit. Add a new column, profit, because these are columns. So if I say add a new column, profit, let's see if it's going to understand what I'm trying to achieve. Guys, can we see it? Can we see the output here? I would appreciate your responses. Come on time. Okay,
Yes,
so I can.
yeah,
Yes.
that's it.
Okay, so now I have the output showing me that I have a profit from the revenue and the costs, when calculated. These are the actual profits that I made for all of those rows. Then if I hover on insert column, I haven't clicked on it yet. I just hover on it. What you're going to see is that column G showing me a column that I initiated, which is add a column called profit. And not just adding, it is going to bring me the actual data that should be occupied in that column called profit. Do we understand? And
Yes.
this is the formula. This is the formula. If you want to know about the formula, it shows you the formula on how it was able to achieve it. It shows you that uh, D2 minus E2. This is column D and column E. So it's doing that formula there and it's bringing out the output for you. So if you click on insert column, it's going to do its work and automatically filters and inserts a column. Do we understand? So it tells you yes. Done. I have inserted a profit to column G. Do we have any questions? I'm hearing some background voices.
Please, can we mute our mic, please? Please, let's mute our mic.
So guys, now we can see a new column has been added. And not just added, but with vital information as to what was interpreted from the initial data. I have a column that shows me the difference between revenue and cost. If you minus this from this, you get this. Understood? Okay. So if I want to find out some more information about this profit, I can say, can you highlight profits? Can you highlight profits in green when above 2000? So I've just asked it to find out the areas. I've just asked it to find out the areas where the profit is higher than 2000. So I'm just going to check and it brings out, it says, sure, looking at A1, which is the row and column, it tells you that cell greater than value 2000, fill color green, font color black. Then I can apply it. Once I do this, we're going to notice the changes that it's going to do to the profit column. So you just watch and see that. I believe you can see my screen and you can see that only the areas or rows where profit has 2000 and above is highlighted in green. Guys, are we following? So this is a very, very good example of how we can make our tasks simpler, easier in a solution like Excel. All of this before would require you time to just, check. And imagine we are checking up to 840 rows. Look, this is a large number of data to review. We have up to 840. Who is going to spend time analyzing this? But yes, if you have those formula up your sleeves and you know them and you know how to use them, of course you know how to play around Excel and your job is going to be made easier. With Copilot is made extremely easier. It's going to be done extremely easier because you know how to navigate the commands within the Copilot solution. And that is very, very unique in its own way. Then you can still ask it to, okay, I want to make a line chart showing the profit by month. I want to create another chart. Create a line chart that shows profit by month. So let's see. Because one thing about charts, like the initial one it showed us, is that it gives us more or a better representation of the data that we are seeing in this table. So I have an output, but let me look at how it looks like before. So it has shown me this guy, but let me add it to see what it comes out as. Uh, Add to new sheet. Hi guys. So look, in this particular chart, we are seeing a spike. We are seeing a spike from November. Do we understand? We're seeing
Yes.
a very high spike. We see a fluctuating, around January down to November. It has not gone up beyond 100. It has just been 100 or less. It comes from probably 120 to probably 70, goes back to 100, comes back to 50. It hasn't really climbed up or spiked beyond 100. If you can see this, this is easy for any business owner, any business leader to understand. And you representing your data like this could really, really help you drive your points home. These are what you achieve by including charts, graphs in your presentations or your data. So you don't just have that data modeled up in a table and people can make any reasonable output of it. Once you can have this data, which you can actually do yourself, and I tell you, if I was to do this myself, I'm going to spend more time doing it than I actually achieved in CoPilot. I spent less than 5 seconds bringing this data out. For me to put this actual data out, I probably need to go to insert, where I have to now choose line, because we have bars, we have other stuffs like that, but I wanted the line. I could use a pie, and any other kind of representation you want to have on your sheets can be done here. But it's going to take much time because you need to fill in data, and if you're not going to fill in data, then you must have the formula that pulls this information into your data that will be represented on a sheet. If we check here, uh, it analyzed the data from A1 to G1, and this is what it found and gave me a line, and I've added it. And this is very, very easy to understand. I can see that I had a very high spike from November. That's when I made lots of profits. So this tells me that, it tells me all I need to know about that data, which is in others. It tells me all I need to know about everything that's here. So do we have any questions? Any questions? I know I've just been demonstrating, but if we have any questions, please go ahead and ask.
Do you have any question? I think we no question for now.
All right.
Okay, Joseph want to.
So
I think Joseph wants to speak.
I have my hand up. Yes, Kelechi, again, I would say thank you for the energy that we can hear in your voice. I just want to make a contribution that if your data is not in a table, Copilot isn't going to pick them. So this is one of the limitations that we have discussed also. So before Copilot can pick this data, then everything that you are referencing must be in the table form. So if it's just in plain Excel, Copilot isn't going to pick it yet. We are hoping maybe there's going to be an improvement in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you for that addition. You're right. You're right. If you don't have your data represented in the table, it's not going to be analyzed by the tool. So the tool must analyze a table that has data before it can, bring out outputs based off that table that it's analyzing. So that's very correct. Yes. Aside that, do we have any questions? Do we have any other questions? If not,
Okay,
we probably can review.
so
Okay, go on.
uh, I Kelechi, thank you so much for for this session so far. So I just want to ask a question. Can I use maybe a blank sheet and ask, okay, for Copilot to give me like a formula for a particular thing? Let's say budget calculation, maybe templates, something like that.
Okay, so I think I've tried that, but it did not work. So, like Joe rightly mentioned, you should have a table. Let's say you have a data you've already spooled out somewhere. That's the best time you can actually utilize this feature. So that part of it is still actually in work in provision stage. Like they're still, I believe they're still working on that, where you can use it to initiate uh something in a blank sheet, like you mentioned. All right. Okay, so this is a blank sheet and you want to do what? Can you tell me exactly what you want to do? Hello?
Yeah, so sorry, I've been speaking on mute. So basically, let's say create a table for a monthly expenses.
Okay. Okay, let's try something like that. Create.
But I think Joseph wants to speak. Or do you have a contribution, Joseph? Your hand is up.
Oh, I'm sorry. It was from the last comment.
Oh, okay, cool.
Okay, so if you can see my screen, I'm actually typing your prompt. This is where we get to type our prompts. Let's even get to see if we have something like that from the option here, create. So we say generate a formula column suggestion. Okay, add a column that combines the customer first and last name. Uh, Look, it says add a column. It means that it's pulling out its output from an existing data. Because if it's looking for customers and last name, there should be a table that has first name and last name. So if you want to concatenate both into one column, this option would work for you. Another one here says add a column to extract the month from the date. So you can have a date. Date format is day, month, year. But if you want to just get the month in a particular column and leave out the other information like the year and day, this option would work for you because it's picking it from an actual table that it's reading. And the other one that says add. But now let's say generate a formula column suggestion. Let me see. Let me copy this initial prompt that I wanted to use. Then let me use this one that says generate a formula column suggestion. So you can see the output for you there. It says that I couldn't find a table or data range that answers your question. I couldn't find keyword. I couldn't find a table or data range that answers your question. It tells you that Excel is a tool that you can utilize to create something out of nothing. You know, you can use it to analyze, like you can use it to open existing data. You can use it to create new data from a blank sheet. But the Copilot integration into Excel works with already existing sheets or already existing data. So it goes to say that if you pretty much have an empty spreadsheet, you're pretty much wasting your time because the tool is not really built at the moment to do that. Do you understand? So you might be sitting and hitting your leg and getting frustrated at the fact that you're not able to just spring up whatever you're trying to achieve from a blank sheet. Do you understand? So let me just put in that other one I was trying to use from you. You said create a table for monthly expenses, starting from, let's put a range, starting from $100 to $500. I'm hoping it will give me anything. I don't really need to. I just monthly expenses, maybe for my company or for myself. Let's just see what it will bring out. And the output is the same as the previous one. Do you understand? So
Yes, yes.
it doesn't get information out to you when you have a blank sheet. It cannot bring or generate a new sheet from nowhere for you. But because we have an existing data, it is able to enter that data and pull out. So let me say something like what we did in the previous one that says create a table for do I say create a table or column? Because we already have a table. Let me see how I need to best draft this prompt. Create a table for monthly expenses. Okay, wait. Create a table for most. Okay. Create a table for monthly expenses based in order of total cookies shipped. I hope this will look into this data. If it doesn't work for create a table, then I'll try column because we already have a table. But let's see. It's analyzing it actually. Oh, great, great. That worked. That worked. That worked. All right. So it says, I created a table showing monthly expenses ordered by the total cookies shipped. I'm sorry, all these are just blocking the entire view. Let me see. So these are some responses that I could actually initiate from what it brought out. How many customers name of quick buy convenience stores? I think we've already done that. But let me try and add that output to a new sheet. Oh boy, where's the add button? Yeah, I have now the add a new sheet button, and it'll take me to a new table that shows the sum of cookies shipped, sum of cost. Based off my prompt, this is that output for that prompt, and it's very, very correct. One thing you should know about Excel is it's formulas, it does the mathematical calculations. So any prompt you give it, it's either it's possible or not possible. But once the output comes out, it is mostly correct, except you want to adjust your prompt or adjust the formula again. So this is all that information, and it shows you for different, I believe, different what you call it, different months of that year 2022. You can see December being the highest, and if we check this information to our chart here, it's correct because it's in December we had the highest spike for sales, right? So it only makes sense that 2022 December we have a lot more cookies shipped from our company to customers. Do you understand? And from the data that we have here, I believe we know that Cascade purchased the most cookies, right? 639,000. That was and we have the sum of costs. So this is costs borne by all the 5 customers for the month of December. 888,000 plus number of cookies worth of cookies, pardon me, 888,000 worth of cookies was sold in December. And it means here that Cascade Grovers purchased 639 of that amount. The rest was the remaining was shared by, if you do the plus and minus, that remaining was shared by the remaining 4 for December, because this is December's month here. So all that is really, really just different outputs, different tables, different interpretations for different data you want to present to whoever. And that's what you have using the CoPilot solution in Excel. So you can use it for different existing tables and you pull out information based on the data that you originally have opened up to your spreadsheet, if you understand me. Do we have any questions?
Oh, yes, we have a question in the chats. I've had people who are skeptical about co-pilots having access to other people's data within an organization, e.g., HR sensitive info. Is this possible with co-pilots? Are there governance techniques to restrict co-pilots to just your own data boundary and not organization wide?
Did you say why or wide?
Wide, organization wide.
Org wide. Okay, great. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, when you talk about privacy or security, security is a huge part of everything Microsoft does. You don't want to mess with customers. You don't want to mess with people who are actually paying their hard-earned money for these things, these solutions. You don't want to have them lose data to the wrong sources or have them shared to unauthorized sources, recipients, pardon me. So yes, with Copilot 365 integrated into Microsoft 365, you only get to have insights for how am I going to say this? You're only able to use Copilot to access data that you have original access to. What I mean is the way you have your own teams and I have my own teams, right? Any data I'm analyzing in teams must be a data that I have access to. If you have not shared me a file, I have no access to that file. Even though you have access to that file or whoever in the organization has access to a file, if that file wasn't sent to me and I have no direct access to that file, Copilot cannot check something that is outside of my accessibility, outside of my own purview. Do we understand? It is whatever that has been granted to me for access, whether it's view only rights or editing rights, whatever the case may be. So long as I have that file in my possession, I can be able to use Copilot to bring out information or access that file. But if it's not something that has been given to me, shared with me, I won't be able to access it. It just goes to tell you that Microsoft created this solution in a way to help you uh, make your task faster. Originally, if I don't chat with you, you're not going to see, or if we're not in a group chat, if you're not a member of a group chat, you're not going to see the chats that are being dropped in a particular group chat. It's that simple until you're made a member of that group chat. And probably, you know, the way teams work, you share, there's a feature that allows you share conversations from the uh, past days, or, you know, all the conversations that started since that chat or that group was initiated. So yes, if you're not a part of a resource or a resource group, you will not have access to that resource. Copilot will not be able to enter or spool out data from sources that you do not have rights or permissions to access. It is that simple. So whatever HR data that they keep in their own repositories, in their own SharePoint, in their own libraries, OneDrive, whatever it is only accessible to the members that have access to it. Any other person without access to that resource cannot gain information from that resource, even though the resource is a part of the organization. I hope we understand. You only get data interpreted in Copilot based off your access to that resource. And initially, when I started, I said that even these data that I've been analyzing, it is because I am accessing them on my OneDrive. If this Excel sheet, if this spreadsheet was saved on my local computer, the Copilot feature would be grayed out because I cannot pull out that data. It doesn't have access to my machine, my workstation. It is going to access the resources that is in your organization that you have access to. And my organization is pretty much my cloud, where I have this emails, where I have these documents backed up or saved. And that's where I can import files to analyze and bring out responses or any information that I pretty much want to bring out using Copilot. So with response to that question, Microsoft really keeps all of their data secure by, you know, just ensuring that whatever permissions you have is what you get to access. If you don't have a permission on a certain file or document or email or chat, you have no purview, you have no insight into that in Copilot as well. So the restriction applies to every application, including Copilot.
Okay, thank you for that, Kelechi. So, in addition to what Kelechi said, Microsoft is actually very intentional when it comes to security and compliance, right? And Microsoft will not intentionally allow leak of data. So, let's say now, you are working in your teams. Any other users apart from an admin, cannot see your conversation in the Microsoft Teams or your email address. So when you talk about HR sensitive infos, let's say you have a particular document, talking about Copilot. Copilot doesn't take information outside the organization to another, to Microsoft end, maybe to maybe another person, maybe outside the organization. All your data resides within your organization. But if your concern is, okay, let's say I have a sensitive info and you have a sensitivity label assigned maybe to a particular information, right? It's only people that have access to that info that can access that information. Copilot is just like a tool that assists you to be more efficient, just like Kelechi has been showing us how we can make use of it better. So let's say now Kelechi has a prompt, yeah, just a particular prompt. I, as an other end user, I cannot have access to all his prompts. However, from an admin angle, in security and compliance, an admin, let's say a security admin with the necessary admin rights, they have access to everything in your organization. So, in which I believe that is actually an expected security behavior for every organization. All admin they have access to whatever you are doing within the organization. But coming from an end user angle, I don't think they can have access to whatever you do through Copilot. And I hope that all that answer your questions, or your questions and concerns.
So just to add to what you just said, Timmy, like you rightly mentioned, only admins and admins with the necessary or right privileges would really be close to getting information around, insensitive information belonging to different parts of the organization or structures of the organization. For instance, if I'm an admin and I want to get an information from you, and I have the rights to, gain or give myself permission to the data that is in your mailbox. I know that as an admin, I can give myself access to your mailbox without having your password. Do we understand? And me entering your mailbox allows me to see content in your mailbox, even though I don't have your password. So admins, even though they have those privileges, the way I would say the way enterprises are built is that there's terms and conditions. We all know what terms and conditions are. When there are agreements, there are legal agreements that we all would follow and abide by. We call them compliance level agreements. And even though I have accesses to certain places, an approval must come from above, from an authority that allows me gain access to a resource, probably because of investigation reasons, or auditing reasons, I may not necessarily request you to give me permission, but because I'm an admin and I can tweak one or two things from the back end, even though I have those kind of rights, it is something that is practiced in most organizations. I don't know about all, I can't say all, but I can say that most organizations approval has to come from the highest authority, that gives you permission to do whatever form of auditing, whatever form of tracking or investigation that would allow an admin to carry out some form of, back end, backdoor access to whatever information. Because at the end of the day, they are the supreme uh, they are the supreme custodians of that organization when it comes to activity management and all that may exist inside of that organization. So yes, the fact that I have that authority or have that privilege does not mean I would use it. I would only use it when the reason to use it arises. And I'm saying that those kind of reasons could stem from investigation reasons. I want to carry out an investigation for a breach, a cyber attack, or whatever. I want to know what was shared that wasn't supposed to be shared. There are incident alerts and things like that that could prompt an admin to do audits and checks and stuff like that. So those are the times that admins could actually, even without you giving them permissions to certain places. So I just believe that it is all for the greater good of the organization at the end of the day when those kind of situation arises. Do we understand?
We understand.
Okay, so I think that's that about Excel. If time would allow, we'll probably go to PowerPoint or Microsoft Word. Um, let's explore something we can do in PowerPoint. PowerPoint, you could choose a blank presentation to start with. And unlike Excel, for PowerPoint or Word, you can actually operate from a blank canvas. Do we understand? And it can say, create a presentation from a file or create a presentation about something. So you can have something you want to present, something in mind. It could be about a topic, be about anything, and just put that in there, and you generate that output. Or you can reference a file. Like I would like to use, let me see, create a presentation from Kel's cookie. Oh boy, do you have anything coming? Company. Company. Kel's. So I'm hoping that it would find the file that I'm looking for. I'm hoping that it will, but now when it brings out an output like this, it means that it did not find that file from wherever you're asking it to get it from. It says we cannot support document transformation for files on your organization's SharePoint. Please upload the content to a file on SharePoint and tag in with the link to the uploaded file. Okay, so I think, let me see, this is already saved. Let me see. uh no, yeah, it's already saved to my SharePoint, but let me see. Mm, hold on. I want to save as online. Okay.
Okay, you can make different. So you say it's not like the one we have. So get information for it to be.
So let me come back to. Hello guys, are we still together?
Andrea,
My
please
screen
check your mic.
my
Yes,
screen
yes.
seems okay.
Mute, yeah.
My screen is lagging a bit. Like I'm not able to. Let me see. Okay, I think it's back. Oh boy. Let me do it from here. Apologies, there seems to be a lag. Okay. Create a presentation. Oh boy, doesn't have. Okay, so I seem not to still find my file, but let me see if I can bring out a presentation from any existing file. So I've added an existing file for it to just help me put into presentation format. Then I send this to the prompt and it works on it, checks for the file, then brings out something that looks good for presentation mode. And here it already gives me an agenda, you know. So I have a couple of slides generated for whatever I'm trying to, get that was inside that document. Whatever I'm trying to get into presentation mode comes out here, right? So I can now, as a, I can leave this as it is. If this is fine with me, I can fine tune it myself by using any of the animation, by using any of the transitions or any of the other options made available to me on the tool and menu bar. Or I can still use CoPilot to adjust and, let me add add some colors to all slides to make more appealing. Since we have just a background of white all through, apologies for the background noises. Oh, it says, I'm sorry, but I can't do that. Okay. Probably I have to check. Make all titles on every slide yellow or orange. I hope this works. Hmm. So the thing about this guy is sometimes your responses or your prompts would not work. So when you're getting this kind of feedback from the Copilot tool in whatever application you're using, it is best to go with some things you can do in here, which is what is available, uh, what is available in the prompts guide here. So I've already created a presentation from a file. Now I can say these are some of the options I can use. Add a slide about best practice for practicing remote meetings, or okay. Add more slides for I probably would need to know information about this slide. This slide is just an invoice. Uh, add more slides for I don't have a file where I can bring out images from. If I had that, I would have brought that into this. But let's say add more slides for uh, so it says, okay, here you go. More slides have been added for cost of goods. And I have more slides, but I see no cost of goods. Well, let's try a new prompt because it's not really creating anything of this. Let's summarize this presentation. Still not able to access or bring out any information. So sometimes your experience could be similar to what I'm getting here. You may be prompted to start again because you now have a modeled up prompts and responses that do not align with your feedback or your expected feedback. So it's best to really just start from, and probably just create from a blank canvas again, or do something else that will not bring you that same result. But what's I pretty much want to get now is if I can create a presentation about something, create a presentation about what could I okay, guns. Create a presentation about guns. I don't know why my mind went to guns, but it says sorry, I can't generate a presentation for this. Okay, I could say okay, create a presentation about Facebook or social media. If you cannot bring a presentation about social media, all right. So guys, here we can see that it's just bringing out the evolution and impact of social media with very valuable points that you can use for presentation, and you can use all of this and bring them up into different slides. So you have a topic in mind, you put that in there, and Copilot is able to generate slides of that topic that you have requested for. The PowerPoint is really much very simple to use, especially when you have topics you want to, you go to PowerPoint with the idea of creating a slide from scratch. You have your images saved, you have the topic you want to talk about, you've probably done your research from the web, and you have all of those things you want to just copy and paste and modify. You can have Copilot do all of that for you from first slide to the last slide, and you can see it's already even added some animations to each slide. But if you also want to cut down on your slide, maybe because you feel like your slides don't have to be this much, because I can see we have 26 at the moment, you can still use the prompt to narrow it down. You can still bring it to less than 26. All right. Uh, Pardon me. Let me try something that we have here. So all of this already has transitions and animations that looks really good if that's what you want to go with. And if you want to make any adjustments to it, you can always edit all of them. Do we have any questions? Any questions?
I Joseph.
Okay, Kelechi, thank you again. I am just here very attentive to your demonstrations. I just wanted to make some inputs, not really questions.
Okay.
One thing is, if you look at that, the the handler where you were supposed to type in like saying, ask me any question. So I must mention that you have option to use voice prompt to ask questions where you have the microphone. So if you don't even want to type, you can do that. And another very important thing I would say here is that the view prompts that you have there, the one that looks like a CPU is saying view prompt. So if
I Joseph. We cannot hear
you
you.
have
We are
option
speaking.
to create.
I Joseph. It seems your connection is bad.
Yeah, your line seems to be breaking.
Yeah, what's that?
We can hear you. I know you've been speaking, but we cannot hear you.
Okay.
Maybe you should type your
I just
questions if the network is fluctuating on your side.
No, I think he's trying to make a
Hello, can you hear me?
contribution. Yeah, we can hear you
Yes,
when you
Can
say,
you hear
"Can
me,
you hear
please?
me?"
we can hear you now.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah. So if you look at the monitor, yeah, thank you. If you look at that place, you have option to create prompts. So if you click on create prompt, you also have option to view more prompts. And then if you view more prompts, you can decide to save your prompts that you are going to be using more often. So if you click on that, you're going to see save prompts, and then you see option to create. So if you drop down, you have keywords that speak to create, that speak to edit, that speak to ask, so manage, catch up. So all these are key points when it comes to you trying to create prompts. So if you look at create, you have, for now, you have options. If you scroll down, you're going to have options within create. So if you want to change your prompt to say edit, there are some prompts that will come naturally with the edit. There are understand, so it can help you give a background of what the built-in prompts that you can use. So this will help you to, streamline the way you ask CoPilot to help you do stuff. So apart from that, you can also go to job types. So the job types, you can see HR, marketing, finance, sales, industry, finances. So these are going to help you again streamline your, like you are trying to query, will I say filter your prompts in accordance to what you want to use. And at the end of the day, the beauty of this is that you can decide to click on the little icon down below that will say save prompt. That one that looked like a rectangle, but with a V by the base. If you look at the prompt there, if you come to the prompt where you say develop an in-depth, if you go to that prompt where you say develop an in-depth, you would see, if you uncheck this, just go back again to where you click on see all prompts by the bottom right of where you are now. Yes. Sorry, this is not what this is not what I actually meant to say. You can go back to just click on that. Maybe you close this, come back again to where you are now. Close this. I just want to show you something. Close this and go back to the So click on the, yes, that one there. Yes. So click on view prompts. Okay. So just click on the drop down where you have task. Can you see? Okay, click on check create. Anyone, there maybe understand anyone. Select any one of them. So on these prompts, you are going to, you just click more. So you're going to see like, you're going to see a rectangle with like a V. Look at it down below. Yes, there. So if you click on that, it's going to help you save this prompt. So it's going to be like a pinned prompt that you're going to be using from time to time. And then secondly, while trying to access your files, you could go to your OneDrive directly and copy the link to a file that you have residing on your OneDrive and use this prompt, and then you paste the link that you copied from your OneDrive to say, use this to generate a prompt for me. And one very key thing that I see, that I may have to check where to see that again. I think while on your screen, you would see the speaker notes by the bottom of the slides that are created for you, so that you can also use that when you are making your presentations, right? And then one other very major thing that I will have to say here is the designer icon. So if you go to designer up on your screen where you have your prompts, where you have your slides, you are going to see the designer icon. So if you click on, can you see that? If you, no, not here. Inside of your slides, you would see on the menu bar, you're going to see designer, right? No, not that. I'm trying to see where that is on your own screen. Okay, but if you see designer is just going to give you what you are looking for by the right-hand side. Then you can decide to realign the way they are appearing to you. So that's just the little contributions I want to make. How to save your prompts, how to reference your documents. I mean, the documents you want to use to create your slide from the document you have on OneDrive. So that's my little contribution to what you have given to us so far. Thank you very much for your time.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Joe. That was amazing. Like a lot of things you said, or just pointed out to me, I had already like lost track of those things. Some I did not even know before. Like the designer you just mentioned, and where you talked about adding prompts and saving them, which would probably just make them appear more if you make them pinned. Make them appear as saved prompts. Then you don't have to always type them from the scratch when you're creating other designs. So yeah, thank you very much for chiming in on that. Yeah, I think that pretty much just explains how we can utilize the most out of Copilot for PowerPoint, and they also apply in other core workloads as well, other applications. So we need to get familiar with these prompts. There are lots we can use in here. So if you have something you want to say, you use this option that allows you speaking to this rather than typing. That also brings an output for you. So thank you for that contribution, Joseph. Opened my eyes to a lot. So do we have any more questions to address?
Yeah, so there is a question from Oyumafu. If a user has a Copilot license but does not have a design license, can he still use Copilot to create slide or adding an image to the presentation?
Does not have a design license. Design?
Yeah, like I mean, he's talking about Microsoft design license, correct?
Is it the designer option or the Microsoft design license? I would
Or
like
the
to really
Copilot
be
for
clear.
design. Okay,
Yeah, Copilot for design.
Imafo.
Hello, good evening.
Can we get the
Yeah.
question very well?
Okay, good evening, everyone. Thank you, Kelechi, for the section. So my question is, if a user has Copilot license but does not have a designer license, like a designer license, can he still use Copilot to create slides or add image to his presentation? I've seen this scenario, so that's why I just said let me
Yes.
ask.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Because pretty much Copilot just is integrated into your PowerPoint, because as long as you just want to use Copilot to create slides, it provides you with a lot of features that you can use off your company's data, images you have on your files stored on OneDrive or SharePoint, as the case may be. And that would be integrated into any slide you're trying to create. So yes, getting the license and having it integrated into your Office 365 apps, and specifically what we're talking about, PowerPoint, would help generate images. I mean, we have images in this slide that I did not pull out from anywhere. It is just based off the idea of the topic that it generated. It brings out images from social media. You can also add a link to a file or document that has pictures, or a resource that has pictures where you want to have images pulled out from, so that they can be added to your slides. So I believe yes, that would definitely work, because
Kelechi, I think I need to comment on that. So the Copilot itself gives you access to the images that come with the slides. So I wanted to sign into my tenants to see what exactly the issue is and why we couldn't see the designer option within the menu bar of PowerPoints. But I am suspecting strongly that it is because we are making use of the web. So if we could sign into the app, the application with your Copilot, we are going to have the designer icon as an add-on.
As an add-on, right? Okay.
In your only in your interface here on PowerPoint.
Yes.
So after you have designed your slides, you could decide to realign them by using the designer, and that's what designer is going to do for you in Outlook. I mean, in PowerPoint. So I see that is not available, and I think that's a very good observation that we have made today, that the designer icon is not available on CoPilot, I mean on PowerPoint on the web. I'm going to sign into the desktop app now and check. But I'm sure even if the time does not permit us, if I see that option, I will take a screenshot of it and drop it on the group chat to confirm to you that we have the designer.
It is already being shared on my screen. If you can see my screen, the designer option is there, but it's not available on the web.
Thank you very much. I never knew that you were also signing on the desktop here. So if you click on the designer, right? So okay, I think I zoomed in my screen. That's why. So if you click on the designer icon, can you click on there, please?
I've clicked on it, so we have this pane coming out from the right.
Yeah, thank you. So you have the realignment by the right-hand side to decide what to do. So I would appreciate it if you can create a slide from here too, because I'm also seeing that the option for speaker notes is probably possible in the application here and not the web application. So if you could just say create, a presentation, and let's see when it comes and see if we'll have the speaker notes. Thank you.
Okay. So let's create a presentation from a file. Let me see if I can get the link to any of the file. Let me see. Let me use this data, since I believe I can copy this, since it's already saved to my OneDrive. Let me see.
Hi,
yeah.
Kelechi.
Yeah, hi.
So I just said, let me jump into the conversation talking about the designer missing on the web. So I've been using CoPilot for PowerPoints on the web, and I use the designer option. So I don't know why it's missing for you. Designer is actually available on the web as well.
Okay, please just hold on. I'll check again on my web.
Okay, I would like to confirm, what license are you on these your office? What office license are you on?
Are you asking me or
Is it
or the person that spoke?
you? No, or yeah, maybe the person not having designer on
So
the web.
I think I have a business standard license. I wouldn't really know because I don't have admin overview into that tenant.
Yeah,
I was given that license.
business standard should have designer on the web. Business standard should have, but business basic, I'm very sure that you don't have the designer on the web for business basic.
So
Yeah, but
I'm
business
getting
standard should have.
Oh, sorry to chime in. If you can see what I'm trying to do here, I'm having this usually comes up when your file is being accessed successfully, and you can click either yes or no. But this is grayed out for both options. You know what is supposed to transition into the full slide. It's not possible now because it's grayed out. Anyone with a possible explanation uh, as to why this, if you already have an experience with PowerPoint, especially for the desktop clients.
So for me, I've not actually used the PowerPoint desktop clients to create presentations so far with CoPilot. I usually use the web.
Okay, so Emmanuel, did you say you saw the designer on the web? So I'm actually on E5, M365 E5. So I'm not sure the business basic idea was the cost of this. So can we check further?
So like I use like now I don't even have one of my tenants, right? I don't have Copilot on that tenant, but I have designer. So I mean, this may likely be a separate issue
Okay. I see designer,
entirely.
guys. I see designer.
Yeah,
It's actually
yeah, you
here.
should have it.
It's actually here,
Yes,
but
no,
the
yeah,
icon was very small.
Oh, good,
yeah.
good, 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 good.
Yes. So it's on the
All right.
web. We can confirm that it's on the web. So sometimes these things could happen. You'll be looking for the application. It's an add in there, so we can use different stylings to what we want to have at the end of the day. So basically, this option gives us more styles to choose from to have our presentation the way we like it. But to address that initial question that was asked by that person, I even without the designer, you can use Copilot license. Like your Copilot license already gives you access to generating slides with images. Do you understand? Like without the designer, I really believe that the designer is it's simply there just to make your slides more authentic, suited to your taste, and provide you various options that you just want to go with at the end of the day, before and after creation of the slide. Do we have more contributions, more questions? Need any clarification?
Yeah, now do you know what?
Hi, Joseph. Your hand is up. Or do you have any more? Do you want to
So I
contribute?
was, yeah, so I was saying that one thing that is missing for me now is we couldn't see the speaker notes. I know that when I create slide from from a Copilot, I have usually have the speaker notes by the tail here. So can we confirm from both the web and the app also that we'll have speaker notes in both, but we don't have it now. And if it is on the desktop, so that we can ascertain that.
Can you expand the notes part on the PowerPoint? Just below the slide, there is a notes part. Can you expand that?
Yeah.
No, there's
So
no.
I think for this particular slide, there is no speaker notes. Or let me see if I can ask Copilot to generate that for us. But yeah, usually there's a speaker notes that you can use to address that particular slide that you're viewing, and it helps a lot. Um, so I didn't find any speaker notes, so I'm trying to see. Okay, so it's not able to add speaker notes based on my prompts. Maybe we have it added somewhere as a feature here. But originally, some slides bring up. For Joe, I want to confirm with you. For is it any slide that you create that bring up the speaker notes, or is just some perhaps when you analyze a file?
That I cannot say yes to or no right now because I know I randomly see the speaker note. I may have to fix an eye on that too.
Okay, okay. All right, guys. A lot of learning still going into the tool. The tool is very much still robust to understand. There are a lot of prompts that we probably haven't used. We're still, getting familiar around them. You know, in only one solution, you have lots of prompts to understand and master. Uh, you know, so that you can achieve your task quickly. Then you still have other applications as well that you have different prompts in there. So I think we should all just that's a take home for every one of us, including myself. We should just get familiar with this prompts and how best to utilize the features here, because a lot of things here, if we don't utilize it, we're just still wasting our time. We're still going to be asking questions that would be returned back as garbage. But if we can utilize the prompts to suit the questions we want to ask it, yeah, I believe copilots would be better utilized that way. Thanks to Joe for pointing that out. And for every other person that contributed, Timmy, all of you, I appreciate. I've learned a couple of things from everybody that asked or made some contribution. If you guys have any more questions to ask me, please you can go ahead and ask.
No, no, close.
Is there any question? Idora, if you're speaking, your voice is very low. Okay, that I seems there is no question. So thank you so much once again, Kelechi, for this session. It's quite insightful. I'm able to learn a lot in this session. Thank you so much for sharing uh, with us your knowledge of copilots. And also, I would like to thank others who contributed, Joseph, Emmanuel, thank you so much. And all the participants, I would like to appreciate everyone for staying with us. And once again, this is Microsoft 365 Nigeria community. So we, Microsoft 365 community, we have sessions like this time to time to share knowledge on Microsoft products, and we try to, as you can see, is there always an interactive question sessions, so you can always come around. And how can you know about our next event and program? So we have a social media link. We have a Twitter, which is Twitter handle is ngm365. You can follow us on Twitter, on LinkedIn. We have LinkedIn link. I'm also going to drop it on the chat. And also, you can also catch up on our previous sessions. We started a session with identity, which is the basic, and also we add section on Exchange Online, SharePoint, Microsoft Teams, security and compliance, Intune. So we had lots of sessions already. If you're trying to learn more about Microsoft 365 products, and you can go to our Microsoft, you can go to our YouTube channel. And also, if you have any feedback for us, your feedback, we welcome your feedback. You can use our feedback link also to give us feedback on how we can improve, and maybe you have any suggestion on what you want us to do. And actually, talking about feedback, in one of our sessions, it was when someone spoke about wanting to learn more about Microsoft 365, but they don't have the knowledge. So with that, we have a program in plan. Is a Microsoft 365 is a mentorship program for beginners that don't have knowledge, or maybe we just want to know more about Microsoft 365. We have subject matter experts coming in to mentor people in Microsoft 365 products. So to learn more about this, I would encourage us to follow us on our social media handles, our LinkedIn, Twitter handle, and also we have a WhatsApp group, a community group whereby we share quick updates. And yeah, it's a group whereby, let's say, if you even have a real life work scenario and you need advice, or you are looking for a solution, maybe you are troubleshooting a particular issue, we have a group whereby you can easily drop your question, and we have subject matter experts in the group in which they can easily give you answers to your question. So thank you so much once again for joining, and I'm going to drop the link to our WhatsApp group. And also if you want to if you have a personal question, maybe further question you want to ask our presenter, you can look him up on LinkedIn. His name is Kelechi Ojukwu. You can reach out to him on LinkedIn. Maybe if you have further questions you want to ask regarding this particular topic for today. So thank you so much once again for joining. Please just give me a minute. I want to drop the link to our WhatsApp group so we can all join if we are not in the group.
Thanks to me. The link is already in the chat. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Thank you so much for that, Emmanuel. Thank you so much. And yeah, thank you so much, everyone.
All right. Thank you, Timmy. Thank you, guys. Thank you all for
Thank you,
Thank you
Kelechi.
so much. Awesome session. Thank you.
All right. I guess that'll be bye. Bye for now, guys.
All right.
Yeah,
Bye.
thank you. Yeah, people joining.